very much. Thank you for the invitation. I come for Afito University from Medellin, from Urban. There is a Center for Urban and Environmental Studies. We are like a transdisciplinary group in university working with different, I'm an architect, but we work with different geologists and biologists to define how we could affront the challenges of our city. I have 5 minutes and I'm going to share some ideas to approach based in what we have been doing as a society for the last decades, based on a strategy that we call social urbanism. But now we know that we have to move towards what we are facing now and for the future, the generation that we can mention, like climate urbanism. So Medellin is a city located in a valley with different geography and hydrology conditions, and the social urbanism was a strategy to include some of the, mostly the 50% of the city who was planned by the informal settlement. So the social urbanism was a strategy to create inclusion for those population, to create more equity based on public space, equipment, but also social housing located, for example, close to the streams, to the creeks, to define as urban and a social integration, how we could use the public space to create more peaceful and coexistent programs for education, for entrepreneurship, for culture programs connected with the urban transformation. Giancarlo will share with you some of these projects of architectural projects that was connected with all these urban projects. Also the visibility, how we could define open space, transparent space, because we have a story that maybe you know about our conflict, our violence, our how we were as segregated society. So the public space was our mediator, the way we could connect again all the diversity that we have in the city, the cultural diversity. And the architectural and the urbanism was a mediator and a tool that helped to all this project, that it was a major project to connect with the quotidian, with the daily activities of the people in the neighborhoods, trying to, what I mentioned, to also think about how we could be in a peaceful places, because all the violence that we lived in the last decades. And to do more programs and activity based in the coexistence. For example, this is a book fair that we developed in the public space, in the botanical garden, in the Park Explorer, that is the red boxes that you see in the other photo. So we are now thinking how we could change and complement this social urban that we have to do and continue doing for our city to a climate urbanism, because we have some flood risk, and we have to do flood risk management, also in the borders of the river, the main river in the center of the valley, but also the landslide risk management that we have in the hills, also in the informal, but also for the formal investment in the upper part of the hills. Also the air quality, for the condition of the geography, we have a particular situation about how the move of the wind and of the air, and we have very problems about it. But also we have a huge biodiversity in the cities, but also in all the country, and how we could connect with the development of the city. And also, we have an important opportunity of urban regeneration around the river, around all the places where we have good public transport. And it's an opportunity for do a climate urbanism where all the public space, the green space, could work together with different strategy to be like a sponge to connect, for example. So some ideas, what we could take for all this strategy, the collective intelligence, the empathy, the building trust that we build with communities, with the public and private sector, but also how we could use the technology to be more adaptable and replicable in different places. because we have to think how we could design with the water, with the river, with the creeks, but also with the rain. We have many peaks of rain in every year. So we have an opportunity based in the new generation, in the new renewable areas, to connect, for example, what we could do. For example, this neighborhood is close to the university, and now it's the opportunity to create more mixed uses, housing, and different approach to connect with this climate urbanism, but also with new private investment in the area. This is a section about our valley. This is how we could design with these slopes, with the mountains, with the hills, but also with the flat areas. And I have two projects based in technology that it's interesting to share with you, because it's an early warning system that we developed with a German group, and it's because we combine the landscape, the urban design, but also all the detailed risk analysis that we have to do in the upper part of the hills in this informal settlement, but understand how the technology could be integrated with the daily life. What you see, the benches that you see there are health sensors that define the movement of the soil, maybe when there is a landslides, and also it's a project that it's doing by a community participation. It's a good example of what we are doing to connect the technology, the communities, and the challenge that we have for the landslide, for example. And also, it's just some example to this conversation. Another tool, a model that we developed in the university is a software that helps us to define an ecological and urban carrying capacity, taking account of strategic sustainable criteria. It's a model that allows us to calculate a support radio index. We did it for the metropolitan area, and it helps us to define different situations. This is all the 10 municipalities that are part of the metropolitan area, and it's a tool and a model, a software that we are developing with the computing area of the university, trying to connect all this data, information, data analysis, to take good decision for the future of the city, to define which limits we have, for example, in the capacities in the specific natural or urban resources. So this is the end. Thank you.
Thank you.